Hello, sixth graders. If you're watching the screencast, you were absent on Wednesday before Thanksgiving break, in which we learned how to edit video with iMovie. And so we're going to kind of cut right to the chase and try to get you caught up in a short screencast. You're going to be doing a lot of pausing during the screencast so you can do the lesson as I kind of describe it. But we're going to cut right to the chase and hope to get you caught up with the other kids who are watching a different screencast today. They're learning an additional skill in iMovie. So let's go for it right away here. So what I'd like you to do is to go down to your dock, and on the right side of your dock, you're going to have a new icon for iMovie. And iMovie is Apple's built-in video editor. It ships free with the Macs. We're using an older version. It's called iMovie HD, version 6. And to make a long story short, it's really user-friendly and a lot of fun. So anyhow, when you click on it, you're not going to see this. You're going to see this right here. And I'd like you to create a new project by clicking on the Create New Project icon here. And then as far as the name and stuff, it's going to save it in your Movies folder. That's fine. But we're going to call this Soldier. Actually, just call it Soldier. Okay, I'm going to call this Soldier Screencast so that I know that this is indeed my screencast version, and we should be good. Okay, and what you see here with iMovie is a pretty easy to use and learn interface. These are called cubbies, these little squares where you can put your clips that you're going to be editing, and this little guy here that's over in black is called the viewer, and you can view your clips as you mark them. And so therefore our first job is to go out to our hard drive and get some clips so that we can learn how to mark and sequence these clips. And in our little storyline, it's kind of unique. The storyline behind this is that we have a soldier in the desert. And none of the clips really have any audio until you get to the end. So you're going to see how we string together the clips without respect for audio, but later on you'll be adding some cool sounds that come with it. So anyhow, what I'd like you to do is to go over to the right side of your screen and double click on your Macintosh HD. That'll open up a Finder window, and you should see icons like I do. And what you're trying to locate is a folder called Soldier Files, and I'd like you to double click that to open it. And then there are two folders inside, one called Video, one called Audio. And all you have to do is kind of move your window down and out of the way like this, and then grab the video folder and drag it and drop it into the first cubby up in your iMovie interface. And what it's going to do is load up all 22 of the video clips. It's importing them into iMovie so that we can edit those clips. And this is unlike the other applications you've learned before because iMovie forces you to save, right? This is not a Web 2.0 app that saves for you like we did in Google Docs. So periodically, we're going to encourage you to use the shortcut for save, Command S. I'm using the menu to show you the shortcut and exactly what it does. So periodically, after you make an edit or two, remind you to say yes to Command S, as we say in class, and save your work. Okay, as you look at your clips in your little bin here, or your cubbies, they're arranged alphabetically. First clip is called Close-Up Head. As you click a clip, it loads it up into the viewer. You might notice these small numbers that go with a clip. These are minutes, seconds, and frames. So in Close-Up Head, notice the time code says it's 4 seconds and 4 frames long. By the way, there are 30 frames in 1 second. We'll get to more of that a little bit later. But let's cut to the chase and teach you how to mark up a clip, okay, and teach you how to crop unwanted things from your clip. So the first clip that goes into our movie is the clip called Opening Polar Bright. At this point, you'd want to click on that clip to load it into your viewer and then sample it or play it. And there's two ways to do it. You can click the play button here. Notice there's no audio, as I mentioned before. Or my favorite trick is to just tap the space bar. You may have heard me tap the space bar. And when you repeatedly tap it, it'll play/pause as you tap it. Okay. What I'd like you to do is to play it for a little bit and then pause it and then switch over and use your finger and locate your right arrow key on your keyboard and repeatedly tap the right arrow and watch the numbers. Because what I'm getting you to try to learn is that when you approach the 29 frame mark, okay, it's going to jump to the next second when you get to the 30th frame. So as you look at this, I'm at 1 second, 1 second, 1 frame, 2, 3, 4. As you get towards the end, into the 20s, 1 second, 21, 122, 123, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 129, and then I'm at the 2 second mark. So a little bit about how time code works. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. We want to eliminate a few frames on the outside edges of this clip. Rarely do you take a whole clip and put it into the timeline. It's not perfect when you videotape it. So these two little right triangles that go back to back in your viewer down here, these are called the in point, the leftmost point, and the out point, the rightmost point. And when you separate them, you get a yellow bar. And that yellow bar indicates a selection. And like you might have learned when you did stills, when you did pictures, some of you are familiar with cropping. Cropping means taking the outsides off of a picture. So we're going to do the same with video. What I'd like you to do is to take the out point and slide it out until you get to the 2 second and 8 frame mark. Right there. You can see it says 208. You can drag it, or once you've started dragging it, you can stop it more specifically, more accurately with the right and left arrows. Notice how that moves. And so once you've located the 208 mark with the out point, on the other side, you're going to take the in point and locate it at exactly 2 frames. Now that's a tiny drag right there, but it should still work for us. You have your in and your out points marked. What we're going to do is execute a crop. And a crop is going to take away, when we're done cropping, the stuff that's in blue outside of the yellow will be gone. Okay, now you can go to edit for this crop command, or you can memorize the shortcut, Command K. So I'm going to take the menu away and execute a Command K when you're not looking. Ready? Command K. And you should do the same. And take note now, over here in your cubby, the clip is now 207. You might be 208 if you're a frame off. No worries. So you just cropped out several frames on each side of that clip. So next thing you do is drag it from here and drop it into your timeline, and you can now notice that you've sequenced a clip. So we're going to do 2 more together, and then the rest of them you'll be able to do on your own. Okay, but let's do 2 more together, and you can pause as needed. But let's load up our next clip, which is called Heard Something. And you'll notice that it is 8 seconds and 20 frames. We're going to trim this one also with our crop technique. So again, let's take our rightmost point, or the out point, and drag it out to the 8 second mark. And that is at the point where our hero has just kind of heard something and marched off. Okay, and then the end point we're going to drag to the 1 second mark. Okay, that's 1:00. And then again, execute the crop command with Command K, and it's going to take away the stuff in blue on the outsides of our selection. And then what we want to do is drag this down into our timeline. Okay, so I have a clip that's 207 and a clip that's 701. You should be similar, give or take a frame or two. Maybe you have 206 or 208 and a 700 or 702. Won't make much difference, but now you've got 2 clips strung together. By the way, Command S, save your work periodically. And let's do one more. This one is called First March. And you can see it's 4 seconds, right? 4:00. But what we're going to do is take the out point and drag it out to 3:16. And then our in point, we're going to set, oh, I missed by 1. Arrow key, I can fix that. And then the in point, we're going to set at 21 frames. Be careful on this one. That's 0:00, and I'm just counting up to 21 here. And there we have it. And we're going to crop it. I told the students before, crop it and drop it. After you crop it, drop it down into your timeline. Okay, congratulations, you've edited 3 clips together. One more note, how do you play back your movie? Well, what happens is when you click on a clip down in your timeline down here, that clip's going to reload into your viewer. And so this viewer acts as really 2 things. It lets you load up a clip from your cubbies and mark points, but it also lets you play back your movie. And you got to be careful, because if you only have 1 clip selected down here in your timeline, it's only going to play back that one. And so if you want to watch the whole movie, you got to deselect this clip. Okay, you can either click to the right of it, or if you have a lot of clips, you can click above it in this gray area where we don't have anything, and then take this playhead. Just drag it back, and then when you spacebar, you can watch your whole movie. Again, there is no sound. We know that. There won't be sound until you get to the very end when you have two clips towards the end of the movie here. You'll see what I'm talking about. But at this point, I'd like you to save it and then come back and ask Mr. Harry for a worksheet. The worksheet is going to have all of the rest of the edits on there that you have to make. It's going to have a number and so forth that you have to kind of mark up for ins and outs and stuff. So at this point, the screencast for Wednesday is over, and you should have enough firepower, enough knowledge in order to finish stringing together your movie.